Tracy Thring, and I've actually been a resident of Kelowna now for 50 years. So I grew up here. I've always loved to do art. I've been painting for many, many years. The focus of this series that I painted is called the Earth Guardian series. And the purpose of it was I didn't want to just create a pretty picture. I wanted to have a message. And animals was my focus, and helping the planet and helping endangered species. So that's kind of where I went with it.
For sure. So there's quite the variety of animals featuring in your pieces here. We've got some that we could observe locally, some from ecosystems abroad in other countries. What specifically made you choose some of these specific species of animals to focus on?
Well, I chose different animals, yeah, for sure, locally as well as exotic. They're animal portraits, really, is what they were. And I think I just wanted to draw the attention to the plight of the different animals, whether it be locally or, exotic animals as well. So I don't know if there was really any other choice for it. It was just whatever I felt in my heart that I wanted to express, so that's the animal I chose.
Absolutely. Is there a personal memory or an experience that you can recall from your life that might have influenced your work on this? Is there a connection to animals?
I don't know. I think between the passion for art and animals, and the planet, and just the respect and love for the environment, and wanting to make a difference. I don't know if there's really any personal experience in that. About 16 years ago, I did own a business called the Endangered Planet, which was an art gallery and a gift shop. And even at that time, I was working with promoting endangered species. I was going into schools and helping children to be educated on how to help the animals and save the species and just make it a better world for everyone.
Absolutely. That kind of feeds into my next question here, that when others interact with your work and they see it exhibited, what are you hoping is the main thing that they can take from it?
I think I want to encourage them to be more active. I wanted them to be able to see the painting and maybe stir up something inside themselves. And I also, with the paintings, I actually have write-ups on the plight of the animals and a little bit of, the animal themselves. So I just wanted to encourage people to step up to the plate, become an Earth Guardian themselves, and work towards a better planet and helping animals.
Absolutely. I really appreciate the approach that you've brought in here, because I think it becomes a little easy with environmental messages these days to feel a bit overwhelmed and defeated and to feel like things are very challenging. So this message of hopefulness and that there are changes that people can make and a difference that they can have on the environment is really, it's a good and inspirational message to bring forward.
Yeah, it starts with us, right? On an individual level. And there are so many things that we can do through education and stepping up and supporting. I have a website where a portion of my art I donate to different charities that help animals. So you can feel like you're actually making a difference rather than, like you say, just standing by or feeling like you can't make a difference. So everybody individually can make a difference.
Absolutely. Yeah. As my parents once said, you made this mess, you can clean it up.
Yeah.
So we as a
that's awesome. Yeah,
we as a species need to clean up our mess a little bit here, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you were asked to define the work that you are making in terms of like a genre or a style, what's sort of the word that comes to mind for you, if there is one?
Oh, I've thought a lot about that. I'm not really sure. I think it's sort of figurative, maybe very whimsical. It's more freestyle. And I'm going to be honest, when I started painting, I have a vision in my mind. But the painting kind of has a life of its own. It'll evolve, and I might even want it to go one direction, and it'll do a different direction, and then I'll end up with the piece the way it's supposed to be. So.
For sure. I found it interesting that you used the term portrait earlier for these. That it's interesting that we don't often use that term when we're talking about paintings of nature and landscapes. We hear a lot about landscape and nature art. We don't usually treat them as subjects of a portrait.
Exactly.
And it's very nice to approach it from this way, with that kind of reverence that we would be giving a historical human figure in the community.
Yeah, and with the black and whites, the monochromatic ones that I did, I think that's what I loved about them, is the focus is the subject. There's no background in these paintings, or very little, right? So the subject itself is what I want you to take, to be able to see. I do focus on the eyes. I think it brings life to them, and I feel that I want them to say something and stir up an emotion when people see the painting. And like I say, the emotion leads you in a positive direction, and in protecting the environment and the animals.
I think there's definitely something to that, the connection through recognizing faces of other living things.
Yeah. Rather than just a painting, it comes to life for you, right?
Absolutely, that they're not a fixture of an environmental painting, they're the focus and the subject of their own.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really lovely. I guess we kind of were just talking about this a little bit here, but when making art, do you find yourself thinking or feeling more when you're making a work?
Probably feeling. I definitely more emotional. Yeah, I definitely put my heart into it more, so I would say not so much thinking as much as feeling.
That definitely feels like it comes up in this one painting behind you here with the longhorn steer here with the flowing fur. It's really a nice sort of free-flowing sort of movement there.
Yeah, that's why I would almost call it almost whimsical. That's kind of the way I look at it. I guess it's the way I see it, so.
Yeah, there's a very nice moving kinetic quality to these. They're very nice.
Oh, thank you.
Is there another artist that you've encountered who maybe influenced or had an effect on your practice when you were painting?
Oh, there's a good question. I mean, we all love Robert Bateman. There's a gentleman called Sheffield, and he was a famous artist that became a animal activist. So yeah, I admired that. I just think, for me, it wasn't just painting, like I say again, a pretty picture. I wanted to make a difference. And I think that art can do that. You can use your art to impact things and make changes. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of beautiful wildlife artists, right? So I admire them.
So in the case of Sheffield, it's just as much the practice outside of the work itself as it is the work.
I think that's what kind of, he's witnessed things that I would never see, in Africa, and that really inspired him to use his art to make it.
Absolutely. Well, it's so great to hear that, because usually when we have these sorts of interviews in this format, it's a lot about a style or a process or some sort of technical aspect of the work, and it's neat that in this case it's an inspiration from another artist that comes from outside all of that altogether.
Yeah, it does totally. Yeah, for sure.
So as an artist working in the region, do you find that there's like a part of our surroundings in our local area that really has an influence on us?
I mean, I love the environment, right? So we live in an amazing, beautiful community. And little things like the bighorn sheep, when I was painting that, I realized that growing up here, we used to see a lot of bighorn sheep. We would drive up towards the Suyas or whatever, and we would see the bighorn sheep. We don't see them anymore. So I came to realize that, they're actually on an endangered species list. So these issues are local. They're worldwide. So for sure, that plays a role.
Absolutely. So are you mostly creating your artwork independently, or do you like to collaborate and be involved with other artists in the community here?
I'm pretty independent. Yeah, so far, yeah, definitely independent.
Yeah, it's quite an impressive body of work just to have produced by yourself. I have to commend you on that.
Work, yeah, for sure.
How long did it take you to make all of these?
Well, I've done the black and white, and then I did the colors. I have a combination of about 30 paintings so far. I think it took me a year once I set myself to that path of accomplishing it. And that's working like 12-hour days, so it's a big commitment, right?
That's a lot of commitment to a theme. I think myself and other artists might struggle to stick to one theme for a whole year.
I think it's the passion, right? I'm so passionate about it, and I wanted to say, I could paint more, for sure. I've kind of come to a point right now, I'm going to stop for a tiny bit, and then I'll go back at it. But there's so much more to say, so you never really run out of what you want to do with it. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'm obviously extremely passionate, and I love it, so that's what I do.
Is there a favorite that stands out to you from some of the black and white works that we've got here?
I can't say there's a favorite, because it's funny, you get personally attached to your paintings. I do for sure, and I feel they say something to me, so I'm attached to all of them. But I don't know if I have a favorite.
is it tough to pick when they're all looking right at you?
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah.
That's that eye contact again. They're judgmental if you say one.
Animal, I love the tigers, but I mean, I love the lions. I mean, any of the wildlife. I think it's amazing when you see it. It's just, I'm at awe with nature. So I don't know if there's a favorite.
Absolutely. Yeah, and lastly here, is there anything else that you want to highlight that we haven't covered that you'd like people to know about your work?
Yeah, maybe I'd come down, take a look at it. I wanted to, I like to work with children too. I think starting young and educate. I think for some reason there was a time when we really talked about endangered species and that's gone under the rug. So I'd like to, encourage people to, get back involved in it, and also children start the education in the schools. And I think that's going to make the difference for all of us, right? And we're all in this together. Like you said, it's our fight and it's our planet. We want to preserve these beautiful things that we have.
Absolutely. Well, it's been a pleasure to have you here today and to talk to you about your work. So please come on down to the Rotary Center for the Arts and check out this amazing installation at our Atrium Gallery.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.